Welcome back to your weekly roundup of everything that happened in Zenless Zone Zero, where we will cover everything that you missed inside and outside of the game. This week, even though we just had the 1.6 livestream, there's still a lot to speculate about for the future. But first, starting with in-game news, it's the final week of patch 1.5, which means now is a great time to prepare for 1.6, with some double drops for combat simulation stages. This will be perfect to stock up on upgrade materials and skill chips, considering we'll be getting 3 brand new characters next patch. The double drops will be running from Wednesday the 5th up until next Monday the 10th. And then on Friday, we will have the last Deadly Assault reset of the patch. This time, the 3 bosses we'll have to face are going to be the Unknown Corruption Complex, which is the giant octopus mech, Bringer, as well as the notorious version of Pompeii, which is the super aggro all-red one. That's going to be it for in-game news though. As I said, it's the final week, so nothing too much to expect there. But in terms of social media, there's a couple of things to go over, starting with the 1.6 livestream. Of course, if you haven't already watched it yet, I do have a video going over all of the new announcements from the 1.6 livestream, which you can watch after this. But otherwise, there is also a Twitter event for the 1.6 teaser, where you could win a PlayStation 5 Pro, a $50 Amazon gift card, or an acrylic stand of a random in-game agent. As usual, all you have to do is follow the official Zenless Zone Zero Twitter account and then like and repost the tweet, which will be linked in the description below. Next up, it's already March, can you believe it? But to celebrate the new month, we have a new wallpaper once again featuring none other than Anby in her new, or old I guess, outfit. There is both a desktop and a mobile version of the wallpaper, both of which are free to download using the link in the description. But lastly and most importantly, the speculation zone, and boy is there a lot to go over. First off, something that happened a little over a week ago actually, was the discovery of a brand new website called HoYoLive Production. If you go to the page at hoyo.live, you'll see that it is a completely blank landing page showing nothing other than the HoYoLive logo and some links to the Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technologies registration sites. Now, the fact that HoYoLive is stylized with a capital H and a capital Y means that this is almost definitely something MiHoYo related. The question then becomes, what is the whole live part? The one running theory that probably holds the most weight is that this is going to be somewhat similar to HoLoLive, another company with a very similar sounding name that focuses on VTubers. Now, wouldn't it be crazy if MiHoYo would start thinking about making some form of virtual live streamers, right? Now, what are the odds? But then again, maybe this is just yet another form of copium where we could say that this time for sure, the stones are finally being set in place for the potential tease and release of the idol girls that everyone has been so eagerly waiting for. Now, that being said though, I'm sure that when you think of MiHoYo and you think of virtual idols or streamers or whatever, your immediate thought is those idol girls for Zenless Zone Zero. But if I were to play devil's advocate for a second here and argue against why this couldn't be the idol girls for Zenless Zone Zero, it would be that the name for the website is HoYoLive, and not something a bit more Zenless Zone Zero specific. So yes, even though it is MiHoYo related, it might not be Zenless Zone Zero related after all. For all we know, it could just be MiHoYo looking to make actual VTubers, not even tied to any of their games. I mean, it can't be that crazy, right? They've previously invested into a nuclear reactor. This would not be a surprise of what they would do. But on the topic of upcoming agents and speculation, as mentioned in the 1.6 livestream recap, with the reveal of Hugo and Vivian playing a role in the upcoming story, I think that it is safe to expect that those two will be coming to the game in patch 1.7. And then the question would become, what roles are they? And one of the new disc sets, Phaethon's Melody, very heavily implies that someone is going to be an ether anomaly unit, possibly an off-fielder too, and it's expected that this will be Vivian, considering one, the disc set has a pattern that very much resembles the pattern on her umbrella. But that brings us to the several little oopsies that MiHoYo did in the 1.6 livestream. The first of which is in the character select menu. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed that one of the agents available was Anby, but as an S-rank ether agent. No, this wasn't Shuyen and wasn't Astra either, as they were also visible separately. And unless the story takes a wild turn, I don't think we're getting a third Anby. The portrait was likely a placeholder for one of the upcoming agents, who again is probably going to be Vivian. But to be fair, this is not really a surprise considering how many other hints there were at Vivian being an upcoming ether agent. However, there were 2 other things that I won't really classify as mistakes, but I think it was definitely something that the devs didn't want everyone to see most likely. For the 1.6 livestream, there were separate broadcasts for various regions and languages, and for the most part they all covered the same information. But there were a few slight differences between them, and in the other languages, a little bit more got shown than expected. First, Firstly, Soldier Anby's Mindscape 6 was revealed when showing that the player will have new profile icons to select from. In the English version, they had already cut to the screen showing the icon select menu, but in other languages, they first showed the player's profile before opening the icon select menu. And there you could see Soldier Anby in all her glory in her Mindscape 6 image. Now again, to be fair, there is that disclaimer that the build of the game shown off was not indicative of the final product, but I mean, why else would you go through all the effort of making that art if you're not going to use it? And then lastly, there was something shown from the story that raised more questions than answers. Now, this is your warning. I'm not sure how relevant it is to the overall plot of the story, but I would still very much consider what I am about to reveal a spoiler for Anby's agent story. This is your chance now to avoid it if you want to. This is the last thing I'll be talking about in the video, so you won't miss anything else. Although I would still appreciate it if you liked and subscribed anyway, if you're not going to watch till the end. But with that being said, in the 1.6 livestream that was shown for the Chinese audience, they showed an in-game talking segment featuring Soldier Anby and Soldier Anby, but cooler I suppose, having a scar over her one eye and an eye patch over the other, and then having her clothes and headband torn up. This is some Metal Gear Solid tier plot that we have going on here, for what I'm assuming is going to be Anby's agent story. Now, on one hand, I want to say that this isn't really that surprising, that there are more people that look eerily similar to Anby. After all, we already have Soldier 11, but she at least looks somewhat different, right? Whoever that was in the image is straight up a direct clone of Anby. Who knows, maybe it's Soldier 1. But this does give credit to the original theory that Silver Squad consisted of a whole bunch of clones, from Soldier 0 being Anby, all the way up to Soldier 11 being, well, Soldier 11. Now, there is some dialogue in the screenshot, but as always, for these live streams, the text shown is just a bunch of gibberish. People have tried to decipher it, since it seems like there is a consistent set of characters that somewhat resemble an alphabet, but no one can properly figure out what the characters are and what is being said in that image. Honestly though, even though it's a spoiler, if anything, the mystery and confusion behind such a direct clone has just made me, at least, more excited to play the story and see what exactly Anby's backstory is going to be. I personally, I'm just really excited to see all of the different stories that we get in 1.6. Not only are we getting the epilogue that introduces Mockingbird, but then we have not one, but 2 agent stories. The lore chads out there are really going to be eating really well with this upcoming patch. As mentioned, my running theory for Anby's story is that somebody is trying to revive the technology that made all of the clones to try and make multiple Anbys, and maybe the one that we saw now is a quote-unquote failed clone of Anby. After all, even though she looks, you know, badass with the eye patch and the scars and stuff like that, the way she looks is still a little bit more like the Anby we know and love. She doesn't look like she's that aggressive or hateful or anything like that. But again, that's just one image that we saw. We'll have to wait until the patch to see how it unfolds. But otherwise, that is going to be it for this week's news roundup. As always, if you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click the like button as well as the subscribe button too while you're at it. It actually really does help out a lot, especially since we're close to reaching 40,000 subscribers. But otherwise, that is going to be it from me. I hope you all have a good week, and until next time, bye bye.